What is up? It's the Figure Hunter, and today I am super fired up because this is the initial review for the Suunto race. This watch at $450 is the most feature-rich watch that I have seen, with the design and the build and all the different things that it brings to the table. But we're going to talk about one potential major fatal flaw that we're going to have to test over the upcoming weeks to see if the features that this watch promotes live up to the hype that this watch has behind it. So if you like this review, this initial review, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing for more. If you're new to the channel, I test devices for higher intensity training, looking at the wellness and recovery aspects they promote, as well as the training load, analysis that it provides. I try not to just announce a feature that a watch has, but try to make sure I compare and analyze whether that feature has any value. And I have to focus my time on content, so all of my videos are sort of straight to the point, no fancy editing, background music type stuff. So the Suunto race, if you look at this on paper at $450, this is an awesome watch. If you came to me and you said, here's a magic wand, wave it in the air and design the perfect kind of cool factor, like the perfect watch for you, what would it look like? It would look like the Suunto race. And so the Suunto race doesn't come to the table looking beautiful. It also is super feature rich, adding like a wealth of wellness features, and training features. And we're going to talk about those in summary in this initial review. But the biggest question is, can it live up to the hype, and do these features work? And what is that fatal flaw, which I'm going to reveal at some point in the video along the way. So the question is what is the fatal flaw? And do these features actually live up to what they're promising to, as far as giving you a full-fledged, comprehensive picture on your life? So what are we going to do in this review today? We're going to talk about what we're going to plan to analyze over the next few weeks. But in a simple hands-on form, we're going to do 4 basic things. We're going to look at the watch and what features, the general overview of the design and the beauty and the quality of it. Second, we're going to talk about the wellness and the features it is promoting to be able to provide, and talk about how we're going to look at those things long term to see if they do provide value. Third, we're going to talk about the training features, what you see in the workout, after the workout, and then in analyzing the workout. And then fourth, we're going to talk about some of just the broad insights you get from the app, because the app has a lot to sort of unpick from it. In this initial review, we'll sort of dive into some of those things. So without further ado, let's dive into looking at the watch. All right, so looking at the Suunto race, the first thing is I love the construction of it. I love the design. I love the fact they added this rotating crown, and now the button has a back button, so now it functions more effectively than the Suunto vertical. In fact, it's got Suunto etched in, but just the overall design is just, to me, one of the best I've seen. The 49 millimeters, that's like the perfect size for me and for what I prefer. Just the all sort of like steel casing feeling to it. The band itself, I love this whole band where you basically, once you put it on, you don't have to have a clasp. It just buckles down to itself. It's actually super comfortable and super stretchy. I would want this band on any watch that I actually test and use. And obviously, we all see the big, beautiful AMOLED display. It is crisp, it is clear, it is set to medium brightness right now, so that's what you're getting. It's 1.43 inches, which is actually above average for the AMOLED displays on the market, and then super duper awesome for the $450 watches on the market. Overall, just their design is very similar to the vertical, if you've seen the videos on that, but the rotating crown is a huge step up. Another huge thing about this to me is that it's got sapphire glass at the $450 price point. Chorus is doing something like that, but this is it just feels like a whole different ball of wax for what you would get on the Chorus watch versus this at $450. If you get the titanium version, it steps it up another $100 at $550, and it actually drops the weight by 17%. That's actually a pretty good difference because of the titanium, because there's so much metal on this watch, which is why it feels so solid and strong. And $550 is actually super competitive with the all sapphire titanium build construction, AMOLED 1.43-inch screen, and they're boasting great battery life. So it's boasting 25 days or 26 days in standby. I have it always on. I'm getting, at least my first estimate is 9 days of battery life, which is great with always on display. Everything, obviously, what we're going to talk about, or what we'll do in the more full review, is it's been known to have a lag. I don't actually care. It doesn't bother me that much. The lag I'm just used to in other watches and other experiences. But the bigger thing is the physiological components and the training components, and do those function, do those provide value. But as far as the overall design, they knocked it straight out of the park and into the next neighborhood. When it comes to the design at this $450 price, this is the coolest and highest quality watch that I have tested in this price point, and it just fits the bill for what I would love to make work. It just has to be tested for everything else. Here's how it looks on my 176 millimeter wrist. I feel like it is the perfect size for my wrist. I just feel like it. It's awesome. This is the clasp system, so it just buckles right down. I mean, it's just the best band design I've ever seen, and I just think it's fantastic all across the board. Here's how it looks if you were to compare it to the Phoenix 7X. So it's 51 millimeters, and then the Phoenix 7 regular, or the Epix regular, go down to 47 millimeters. So a smaller casing. This is 49, right in the middle. Again, 51 feels like a little bit big. It looks, even just the fact that the exterior shell to the size of the screen ratio is much better than it is on the 7X here. This is obviously a totally memory and pixel screen, so it's not going to look glorious at all compared to the AMOLED. But this is just sort of a size overall you can compare. They feel like the same build quality as far as construction weight and overall strength. So what do I think of the design, the build, the quality of the watch? It is off the charts awesome. I mean, it is just everything about it awesome. The lagginess, that would be a glitch, you could say, but I don't find that to be a glitch. The notifications come in, everything's great. Everything is great. Yes, obviously it has a definitive lag time. That doesn't bother me, but everything else just it's good. So let's look at the wellness features, because it's promoting a laundry list of wellness features. Let's dive in. All right, so let's talk about some of the wellness features. We're just going to sort of bounce through. The first one is resources. It used to be a first beat metric where it was truly HRV tracking. It was just like body battery that is on the Garmin watches. Now they're doing their own sort of component. In the first day, it does not look like it's the same feature as the body battery. So lots to be checked out here, because it so far does not seem to be tracking the flow of the day like the body battery does at all. So I think probably what they're doing is just how much you're moving the watch around. Like, I don't know that they're pulling any physiological metrics into this calculation, but all that aside, it's still really cool. It's a great concept. I mean, I think body battery is something I depend on. It shows when I'm getting sick. So really awesome. That's got to be checked out a lot further. Recovery HRV, obviously tracking your 7-day trends, your last night trend. And you got to get 14 days. So we got to get, more time under the belt there. But just the fact that it's tracking HRV, a lot of watches in this price point don't track HRV, your nightly, heart rate variability recovery. So the fact that it has it, that is awesome. It's got some, obviously training features. Sleep, sleep. Everybody's got an opinion about whether the sleep scores, sleep stages, all that stuff is right. It is looks great so far. Whatever. It does have pulse ox, so that's another wellness feature that is not on every watch. So it's got blood oxygen tracking. It does your sleep stages. It shows all this really cool stuff. I mean, it's really beautiful in how it comes out, how it's displayed. The bigger thing is not seen here. It gives you like a percentage, like your overall quality of sleep. It helps you to track your target, obviously. And the other thing that's really actually a big thing to me is it accumulates in your sleep time for the day. See that little orange thing? That's a nap. So it'll add the nap to the top of your total sleep. So you could see, looking across your trends, if you're hitting your average sleep time goal with naps included. Really, really great combination in with all these other features. So the rest of the features are just sort of basic. Heart rate variability, or heart rate rather, blood oxygen, steps and calories. That's a wellness feature, I guess, but none of the other things that I would sort of highlight as wellness features. But those are big things. The sleep sort of a rough score. It's like a quality score that they give you. The fact that it takes naps and adds that to your total volume accumulation, so you can see if you're trending that way. And then the fact that it's got HRV and resources to be able to track higher level than other watches on the market. That's a big deal. All right, so looking at the wellness features, it does have a long list, but the real question is, are the resources, the body battery, is that going to add value versus what the true Garmin body battery has been providing for years now. The HRV, is it going to be able to, provide deep insights in how your HRV trends are changing and give you actionable feedback, or is it just tracking a simple number? So those are the big questions. So now let's get to the training, like the meat and potatoes of some aspects of this video, in looking at the training features it provides. All right. So now we have the feared aspect of the potential fatal flaw. It is using the same heart rate sensor that was on the vertical and reviewed very poorly. Let's take a look at the first workout. All right, so here we have this first really rough workout. Now it was repeating heavy back squats, which does affect all optical heart rate sensors on the front end for the lifting portion, but it got none of that. And then on the repeat for the Metcon, the intense portions, it didn't pick up very much of it. I would say just sort of eyeballing it, maybe it got half of it, which means it missed half of the most intense portions when give you distorted, skewed cardiovascular scores, as well as my cardio workout in the back half at 130 beats. It did get that, so it's holding up fine on a steady state. I'll also test steady state workouts, but this is a poor result for the first workout, and the vertical wasn't that much different, and it is concerning. This is the same, so we'll be able to test to see if there's any algorithm changes, but the hardware I think is the problem. This is the vertical itself for the correlation versus a chest strap. So a correlation of 0.62. This is for higher intensity CrossFit style workouts, lots of wrist flex and lots of fluctuation of heart rate, but this is a very low score. So the standard now is above 0.85 at a minimum, and a lot of watches are getting 0.9 something, which is high level accuracy. This is just not reliable. So we're going to take it through the paces. This is the vertical, so we'll have to run through serious tests with the race and come back with the results. All right, so we see that, boy, oh boy, this is a concern. This is actually a big concern for me because this vertical was not good. It was one of the lower, if not lowest score in the recent 12 months. So this, I think, even would affect its ability to track good HRV overnight. So we're going to have to really dive deep into whether this heart rate sensor becomes the Achilles heel of what seems to be a beautiful watch. All right, so let's talk about the training features. So you have like 95, I think it says, different training workouts you could run on here. You can adjust the workouts in the app. It like the more basic workouts like walking and running, or running specifically, you can add 4 data fields like pages. And the other ones that you're just gonna tweak and customize, you can only add 3 data fields, but it gives you a laundry list of different options that you could see on the watch when you're in the workout. So it does a great job there. And then I always just go to the logbook if you want to see a comparison of what it would look like after you get done with the workout. Oh, that's one thing. You're looking at a true thing that's like now available. It really is cool. I mean, this mapping on the training, just mapping as a general watch use, but the mapping I think works. I mean, it's legit. But yeah, half a mile is as far as back as you can go. You can scroll all the way in. You can see like, okay, there's the community, but really, really, really cool. And you can adjust different things so you can exit. So mapping is a really cool aspect of training, and I really like how it looks on here. So now to go back to find the logbook so that we could actually see a workout from recently. Come on. So how does it look when you get done with the workout? You get this basic stuff. You get the average heart rate, the time. You get a nice pretty heart rate graph. You get your intensity zones, calories, recovery time, always going to be a little bit low. PTE, that's like your aerobic impact score, which I actually really like. And we're going to track whether this is in line with Garmin. Your epoch, which is like a training load. And it doesn't show your true training stress score, which flows into your training load, which we're going to look at in the app in a second. But that's what you're going to get if you look at a workout after you get done on the watch. And then how does it actually add value when you're looking at your training? So they do a lot of really great things. It's one of my favorite training load tracking. It's using acute training load, like your work load that you put on your body in the last 7 days relative to your chronic, which is the CTL. And it shows your fitness score as a relation of the two items and whether you're productive, you're moving up in your training, or it gives you running estimates, which I don't find to be that useful. Moving up in your training or moving down. It shows you where I'm at here. I'd say that's probably fair because I took 2 days off, or 2 days a lot lighter in the last couple days. It has, training for the week. Oh, gosh, of course, I had 1 week pass, so it's not going to have the clear picture there. And then your recovery from the training. So whether you are fatigued or gaining fitness. So what line you're in, it gives you a lot, and we're going to look at it in the app because that is where it lives more effectively. But overall, I found these to be highly useful, and I just got to be honest, I really do love that it's got some of these basic things just built into the watch, and you can just see them at a glance relatively quickly. So let's look at the app. All right, so the app is both super simple and very in-depth at the same time. So at the top here, you'll just see like a scrolling set of information. So this is like your quick at a glance. And so we can dive into some of these pieces. So like it goes to this daily summary, like that's where like all of it's sort of summarized. So to me, this is too simple. Like it just tries to pack everything into one little snapshot for the day instead of being able to do a deep dive. Like on this daily resources, I can't really dive into what this information is. That's a downer for me. That's, I can't really dive into a whole lot of information on this particular page, but that's where you see your summary of your resources depleted, your wellness, all of those different basic things culminated together. And then you can see that same thing. Like if I hit any of these little guys, well, the training load is going to take me somewhere else. But if I hit, these little calorie guys, like I hit one of these guys, it takes me to the daily page. Again, steps. Oh, there's the daily page. So it does those things over and over again. A little frustrating until you look at the bottom of the whole app. In that little bar graph area, that's where you get into some serious meat and potatoes. So let's look at wellness first. So we start with the recovery. This takes into average over the last few weeks, and it's starting to build its status. It says I need 14 days, but I think I've crossed that. But either way, here's the way it looks with the heart rate variability and the tracking across time. But sleep, it's going to give you a little bit of the same highlighted details. And if you dive into one of these, it's going to go to that same summary page. And then if you dive into yesterday, summary page for yesterday. So you can at least jump into your history. You can see here it's got that hour-long nap, have an hour, another nap, another nap. I love that it packs it on top there. Does not display it, in my opinion, in the best way possible to glean the information. So that's the wellness side of the app. And so then we go into the training side, and it just goes like, we're not going to look at all of it. I hate that today's Sunday, and so it doesn't look like I did any training. But whatever. So no scores for this week because the week just started and it didn't work out today. So no scores. Great. This is really, so we'll have to show it in the grand finale. So it does give you this summary, though, this overview of all your training aspects and your fitness change. And then you can look at different training features and focuses. But the biggest thing is the progress. That's where your training load lives. This is your training over a long period of time. And I have been using Suunto they're using their app on a different function using a different device all this time. So it has a long history, or at least close to 13 months. But if you look at the last 8 weeks, you can see how your training is improving or declining. Just really, really, really helpful stuff. So that's training, recovery, activity, sleep. So those are the main tabs. But when it comes to wellness, you're going to look at the two primary features. When it comes to like that landing page, you look at heart rate variability and the last night's sleep and the resources. And then when it comes to training, you're going to look at that long list of like training insights and guidance according to your training and what you should do now. Obviously, I just uncovered a little bit of a bug is that it basically resets all your information. It doesn't have a rolling 7 days. It just says, okay, well, today's Sunday, so none of what you did is going to appear. So the advice will not appear either. All right, so in summary, it is bringing a lot, promising a lot, listing a lot of great things that it can do and it will do for the purchasers of the new Suunto race. But the question is the fatal flaw of the dysfunctional heart rate sensor going to really take the knees out of this watch all around. Obviously, within the one workout, it brings to question a lot more testing needs to be done on the quality of the heart rate accuracy when doing higher intensity workouts. We know that. We know that from the Suunto vertical. We know that from now looking at the first workout, that we have to see if the heart rate accuracy, can it connect to a chest strap? Absolutely. You can connect to a chest strap. It's going to get perfect, heart rate accuracy there. But how does the heart rate sensor itself, if you're not wanting to use a chest strap or an armband, going to keep up for workouts with higher intensity, higher fluctuation, or wrist flex for the workouts themselves? And then on top of it is the heart rate sensor not able to even keep up with some of the wellness metrics it's promising and promoting? And can the watch really give you actionable quality feedback from the wellness features it's promising and promoting? So with that, we have some days ahead of real in-depth testing, so stay tuned for more. Their first initial review for the Suunto race, the Figure Hunter. Thanks so much for watching.